Hi everyone, welcome to Creative Stampin' Designs. My name is Karen. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Central New Jersey, and we are going to make a fun fold card today. And make sure everything is up live, and I can't tell. I think I am. All right. We're going to get started. Hi Tara, thanks for joining. Jamie, hi Amy. I'm actually able to see comments, and I actually put my computer a little closer so I can read a little better. Hi Carol, thanks for joining. All right. I am going to use, I'm using the Lighting the Way bundle for today's card. Um, and I'm using it with the One Horse Open Sleigh designer series paper. I am also using um, the Timeless Charm dies. I was actually going to use this set, but since it is unavailable right now, I used just a couple of the dies. I used this one and that one. All right, and I did not do a lot of the prep ahead of time. I couldn't this time. All right, just have a couple things. Speaking of the online exclusives, there are new online exclusives right now, although some are already unavailable. But they should be back in, I believe it was the middle of July, well, next week. Some of them are will be back in. Also going on right now is the bonus days. For any order $50 or more, you earn a $5 coupon for every $50, and you get to redeem them in August. So it's a great time to buy now, and then you get to save $5 on whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no limit of what you have to spend to get your $5. Just get the $5. If you only want to spend $5, that's all you have to do. All right, I'm going to get started. I have, oh my goodness, the Azure Blue, or Azure Afternoon, sorry, card base, which is 8.5 by 4.25, and I scored it at 3 inches. I did do the scoring ahead of time. Forgot to get my bone folder. Hold on. And things are not okay. Forgot to get a couple things out. We're just a little bit out of reach here with a couple things. All right. And I have a panel of Granny Apple Green, and this is the One Horse Open Sleigh. It's the wood panel that I'm using. So it's not a Christmas card, but I like the wood grain paper, and I really wish they would come back with it. So oh goodness, forgot to get my Stampin' Seal down. We're doing good already today. All right, so I'm just going to adhere the DSP to the Granny Apple Green mat. I swear this dog waits until I go live and she starts all her barking and carrying on. Never fails. Whoops, I'm a little crooked. The One Horse Open Sleigh, there's the light wood grain and then there's a dark wood grain. And I put the dark against this when I was getting everything together, and it was too dark. It was too dark for this card, I'll say. Let's try this again. That's better. I'm getting my liquid glue out. All right, I'm just going to adhere these right to the card base. Now, I did find when I was doing this, when you have directional DSP, you use a little bit extra because I needed all the wood grain going one way. So I had to cut a few sheets for this. All right, I'm just going to put this one on the inside. Okay, now we have a panel of the Granny Apple Green that is, oh, I forgot the measurements now, 8 3/4 by 3, and it is scored at 4 3/8. All the measurements, directions, a link to the video, everything will be on my blog, creativestampindesigns.com, on Friday, since I'm over here measuring. All right, and I'm just going to mat the paper again, and this panel is going to go, we're going to have this right in here, so it's a joy fold card. My goodness. This right like that. There we go. All right, and I am going to adhere this inside because I can right now. Because this, nothing else is getting done to these panels. So I'm gonna just center it on here on the, it's 4 by 5 1/4 panel. Okay. Looks like my glue is just not cooperating. One of those days. Whatever can go wrong is going to go wrong for me. Okay. And center this the best we can. Just like that. And then that will go like that. Okay, now come the decorating part. I'm just going to set that on the side. I just have a panel of white that I am going to stamp. I do have die cutting to do. I was brave enough that I'm not sure. I'm going to just stamp a few. I'm not sure. I think it was one of these, two of those. I don't know. It's a combination of things. So that one I used garden green. I used a couple different greens because I figured, well, when you're out in the woods or whatever, nothing's the same. Everything's all different shades of green. And this one is Granny Apple Green. Oops, I must have ink on my fingernail. That cleaned off before I go stamping something else. And then I have, this one is the soft sea foam. I'm going to do 2 of these. And again, I don't know if I'm going to need it until I start putting it together. As most of you know, make the card up as I'm going. Go right there. That should be good. Hi, Tina. Thank you for joining. Is that Shell? Hi, thank you for joining. Am I saying your name right? And I'm using basic gray for the lightning bugs or fireflies, I don't know, whatever you call them. I call them lightning bugs. But I'm using my sponge dauber because there's detail on on the wings, and when I just stamped it, you couldn't really see it that well. So I figured I'm going to use the sponge dauber. Originally I pulled out the pebble path to stamp the fireflies in, and you couldn't see anything. That ink pad is so juicy. Yeah, see, you could see you can just see the wings. But when I stamp it with just sticking it right in the ink pad, you couldn't see them. So I got a dauber out, and I figured it would be easier if I did it that way. Then I was sure that we'd be able to see them. And I'm going to try to cut most of these. Yeah, that one came out really dark. That's okay. See how many of them I can cut at once. I try to do a lot of the not fussy cutting, um, die cutting beforehand. So I don't have to, just gonna, I just have Post-it tape to hold these in place. I'm gonna have to get a few more pieces though, because I only had a couple little pieces here. Mm, I'm trying to make sure the stem is right in there, and it's hard because they move. All right, that's my last piece. I gotta cut some more. Um, I can cut one of these out. I'm just using its um, Post-it note tape. Stuff is great. I have multiple rolls of it. I'm a big Post-it note user. How many? I got 2 steps. Okay. Hey, whiz. And this is why I usually try to cut the stuff out before, because I'm a, I hate to admit this, but I think I fussy cut better than I die cut. Looks like I'll be able to get quite a few things done all at once. How's everybody doing today? It's a little bit on the warm side here, but it's not, I don't think at least, it's not as humid as it has been. I got up this morning, it was only like 65. It's really nice. And then by the time I was walking to work, it was upside down. It was up a little higher. And when I got out of work, well, then it was really a little bit toasty, but not unbearable. All right, I'm just going to go off to the side and cut these. Hopefully everything will stay in place. Nothing will move on me. I think I just about have everything in my new room where it's nice and convenient that I can get to it easily. My only issue is this dark computer so I could see comments. Eventually, I'll get it to I'll get everything. But actually, hi, Mary Ruth, thank you for joining. Oh, it was stuck in there still. There we go. So I've got one more of these to cut. Right, and one more firefly to cut. Yep, hold on. Yep, that's the right way. Stupid thing is, at least the leaves you could tell which way they go. This one's a little tougher. Okay. Get these all out of the way. This can get put out of the way. And I think we're good to go. All right. Now on the fireflies, I'm just going to color with the lemon lolly. And it's not really even coloring. I'm just dabbing some color on it. Just to make it glow a little. And I'm using the dark lemon lolly blends. Right. This part I did ahead of time. I have a panel of basic white that I embossed with the Timber 3D embossing folder. I figured to stick with the wood grain theme. And I'm going to adhere it to a panel of the Azure Afternoon with liquid glue. And I believe it's 3.5 by 3.5, but I'm not, oh, I can't remember the size of that one. Yep, 3.5 by 3.5 is the white. And then the matte is just 1/8 of an inch bigger. Okay. Get some of my dimensionals. Now, these are the pieces I did cut out ahead of time, and I cut them out in the soft shimmer paper. So I cut just a couple pieces, and some of the centers didn't come out, so I left them. I figured, well, maybe if they stay in. And again, I don't know what I'm using until I start putting it all on. So I'm gonna use a mix of liquid glue and dimensionals. These are going to go on with dimensionals, and I am going to pop up some things, or pop up a sentiment on the bottom. So if everything doesn't look perfectly even, it's okay. Part of it will get covered up. And I'm only going to put the dimensionals on the leaves so that I don't have to worry about um, the sentiment on the bottom. Okay, and this one I'm going to put down with liquid glue. actually one of these. Whoops. Okay, that was a little more glue than I thought was going to come out. Wasn't even squeezing the bottle that time. That's all right. It's going to be underneath, so let's see. Fit. I'm using just little half dimensionals, which seem to fit perfect for these. See if we can get. Okay, we're getting a little tight in this one spot. I should be able to fit one. Yep, can't see it. That's good. Whoops. Trying to figure out where I want this. Sorry. That works. All right. And then fireflies are definitely getting popped up. So we'll get the dimensionals on those so they're ready. Big one, we're going to put 2 on. All right, let's see what else we're going to be able to put in. Yeah, these can go along the bottom, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Like I said, the sentiment's going to go right along the bottom. Oops. I just wanted bigger, oops, came right off. Just to add a little bit of shimmer. So I was looking through, because I don't have a lot of DSP here, and I definitely did not have things that matched. And I don't know about that other piece. If I decide to put it on later, I will. But for now, that's where I'm stopping. Right. Put this one. Actually, we're not going to put that one yet because I might end up putting it on the side of the sentiment. Okay. Now I did have a piece of white after my sentiment. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. And I am going to stamp the sentiment. One thing. Oh, goodness. Got the die to cut the sentiment out. I got the stylish shape die. I just grabbed whatever right now. But I don't even know if this is going to be big enough. We're going to try to make this work. All right. Excuse my arm. Let's move this firefly before I get it stuck on something, and I'll be looking all over for it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut half partway through, and then I'm going to move this, and we're going to hope it works. It should, because it does fit as far as um, for the width of it. We're just a little short on the length, but I should be able to do this. You know, just hold that in place for now, though. Again, and I'll just cut this real quick partway through, and I'll show you how I have done this before. So you don't want to go all the way through. So you can see I only went part way, and I'm going to move this to the end. Oops. Okay. Going to move it to the end, and then we're going to line up. Oh, boy, it went right into place. That's scary. Yeah, I moved it so that the little dots would catch, and it caught right away. A lot quicker than I thought it was going to. Yeah, it's not moving. Sorry, I moved the table. And I'm just going to turn it, and I'll cut it the other way. We should be good. When you when you do it, you only go part of the way through. Yeah. Okay, I was sweating that one out a little bit. Wasn't sure if that was going to work. We're just going to set it right on the bottom. I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals. Whoops. A couple three dimensionals since I took three out. Put it right. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. All right. And then this is going to set right on the top of here. And I'm going to, again, pop this up with dimensionals so I know I have to come up and down about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Oops. So I'll go a little more than that just to be on the safe side. This will go right like that, so it'll be centered. So this still opens, and the insides should go pretty quick. Get my other firefly, and I'm just going to put him right there because I wanted 3 on. Okay, I have 2 panels. One is going to be for the sentiment on the inside, which, oops, I have just, "You're all kinds of wonderful." I don't mean my, I'm just going to center it on here. No, wait a minute. I'm going to put it up here so I have a little room to write. Just adhere this. Give it a half a second to dry. And on this side, I'm just going to stamp, I have scrap paper. I'm just going to stamp the greens just to decorate it, but I can also use this side for writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off once. So then if I do write over the top, I keep sticking my arm in the camera. I'm sorry. If I do right over the top, you'll be able to see it. This was the ink pad I had to add a little more ink to. I'm not used to having room, and that's what I'm trying to get used to. Having a little bit of extra room here. I need to see if this will. Nope, this one's going to go full because you're not going to see it at all. Mm. One little firefly, and then we'll adhere these all in. Before I Let's adhere these in. I'll color the little firefly later. Again, all the measurements, everything will be on, come on my blog on Friday. Everything goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning. There'll be a link to the video, all the measurements, everything. If you do make the card, it also goes live on my Facebook page. And if you make it, in the comments, post a picture of your card, because I like to see what everybody, is making. And I just have a piece of, I had ink on my nail or something before when I pulled the envelope out, but I figured, okay, we're going to cover that, so we're good. Between ink and glue lately. And don't forget to get those orders in so you can take advantage of the bonus days. The clearance rack was also updated, so there's still things there that you might want, and that all counts toward getting a bonus coupon. And I already stamped the front of the envelope. I got that done ahead of time. And there you go. Oh, and I got ink on the front. All right, I have an ink eraser. We'll see if that'll work. But there's the card. It's a Joy Fold card. And I think I did everything. If I forgot part of it, I'll just add it on later. I will plan on being back next Wednesday, same time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll see what I'm going to make for next week. I'm holding, as much as I want to get some Christmas cards done, I just don't want to, it's too hot out to make Christmas cards. Again, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me at creativestampindesigns@gmail.com. And everything will be live Friday morning, all the measurements, so you can recreate this card. Thanks for joining, everyone, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.